I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. You know, if it's scripted, then it's gonna be good for the fans to watch.
What do you mean by scripted? Like rigged?
Yeah, like scripted. Like
yeah, because some people say Jake's fight's rigged. He's like suing people now that say they're rigged. You see that? But how could they rig it before? Because like, what if they just say, "Oh, we're gonna go soft on each other," and then Tank just fucking throws it right at Jake?
Jake can punch with that right hand. Like I seen him, you know what I mean, up close in person. Like dude is big. He's not as slow as people think he is.
Jake is big. Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, I mean, Lamont Roach performed great. They went to draw.
What do you think of him and Tank?
I enjoy these fucking stupid spectacles. I enjoy them. I'm excited for it. The controversy, the press conference, the weigh-ins. Imagine those two stand next to each other.
Terence Crawford has left the boxing world buzzing with his blunt prediction about the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight. In a statement that shocked many, Crawford went as far as saying that this contest should not even be considered a real fight. His view was that the weight difference between the two men is so absurd that it turns the whole matchup into a scripted circus. He even warned that the event could feel completely fake. Yet despite doubting its legitimacy, Crawford still offered his take on who wins, and surprisingly, he leaned toward Jake Paul.
You know, I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. You know, if it's scripted, then it's going to be good for the fans to watch.
What do you mean by scripted? Like rigged?
Yeah, like scripted. Like
but none of those guys want a fucking L, right?
I think it's not a real fight. I think it's because it can't be a real fight because they ain't in the same weight. So it'd be more like an exhibition.
I think it is an exhibition, but do you think they're like, but not one person saying like, yo, I'm gonna fucking throw the match? You think?
I don't think.
Or you never know?
Yeah, I think they're gonna go in there and spar. I don't think it's gonna be.
According to Crawford, Jake Paul's size and physicality are too much for Gervonta Davis to handle. He believed that Paul's boxing skills combined with his frame give him the clear advantage. Crawford's words were sharp when he said that it would only take one solid punch from Jake Paul to end Tank's career, making the fight over in a flash.
Jake just too big. He too big. If they really go at it, he's just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank, it's over with.
Do you think he can hit him though? With how fast? Yeah.
In his eyes, Jake Paul does not just have a chance, he is the one favored to win this strange showdown. Crawford even pointed to Paul's solid showing against Mike Tyson, saying that based on that performance, it is easy to picture him coming out victorious against Davis.
Yeah,
I didn't like that one.
Jake too big for Tank, you know? In reality, he's way too big for Tank. Like Tank is very talented, punch hard, explosive, the whole 9 yards, but
yeah, because some people say Jake's fight's rigged. He's like suing people now that say they're rigged. You see that? But how could they rig it before? Because like, what if they just say, "Oh, we're gonna go soft on each other," and then Tank just fucking throws it right at Jake?
Jake can punch with that right hand. Like I seen him, you know what I mean, up close in person. Like dude is big. He's not as slow as people think he is, and he can punch. You know, that's why a lot of people know, like, there was times where, you know, him and Tyson.
As if that prediction wasn't enough to stir the pot, Jake Paul added more fuel to the fire with one of his usual promotional stunts. Known for using outrageous antics to hype up his fights, Paul took things to another level by sharing a bizarre AI-edited video after his face-off with Gervonta Davis. Instead of the usual push and shove that occurred, it was shocking, funny, and strange all at once. "They can never make me hate you, Spanky Tanky," Paul captioned the video on X, which shows them two facing off and then coming in for a kiss. While the hype grew online, the actual decision to put Davis and Paul together in the ring has sparked heavy debate across the boxing community. Shakur Stevenson was one of the first to openly criticize the matchup. He pointed out how Tank Davis first received a controversial draw and then had his rematch with Lamont Roach denied. To Stevenson, this whole situation has damaged Davis's credibility. He called it ridiculous, saying that while from a business perspective it might make sense, in terms of pure boxing, it makes no sense at all.
Two sides of that. Like,
Okay.
it just depends. Like, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money, or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So as a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
Your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
fighter with my integrity.
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you had a draw with somebody and you were offered.
He said he didn't really care for this kind of fight since it wasn't a true representation of the sport. Although he did admit he could see Davis landing a knockout, Stevenson avoided giving any serious prediction, brushing the whole thing aside as entertainment rather than real competition.
Yeah, I got to go back to this, Core, the Tank and Jake. They saying it's an exhibition, but Jake has said that the reason why they deem it an exhibition because it won't get sanctioned because of the weight disparity, right? But they still going to really fight. Do you feel they're going to get into a real fight in there?
Yeah.
Like you think Tank is going to try to knock Jake out and vice versa?
Yeah, I think they are.
So how does that play out?
Fuck them.
Huh?
I said fuck them.
Both of them?
Yeah,
you can't give me a prediction on that? I feel you.
I care about like boxing fights in the sport of boxing.
No doubt. All right, so before you get out of here, what's one fight outside of yourself?
The idea of legitimacy has been the central theme of this fight. Brendan Schaub was another voice who dismissed the bout as nothing more than a cash grab. With reports of a $200 million payday being thrown around for both fighters, Schaub said it was ridiculous to even think of it as legitimate boxing. Still, when it came to predictions, he gave a fair analysis.
Gervonta Davis's guarantee.
I call bullshit.
Jake Paul.
Me too. I call bullshit. $200 million is a lot of money. That'd be the most any athletes ever made in one event, in one night. Where are they getting that money?
I mean, it's Netflix.
Okay. Mike Tyson didn't make that. Jake Paul didn't make that.
Yeah. 20 million, I would believe, not 200 million.
20 million seems realistic.
That's a lot.
Even because Netflix is bigger, but there's no pay-per-view model, so. And Gervonta is a big pay-per-view draw, especially for being a lighter weight class.
Yeah.
So 20 to even 40 I can get.
Oof, that's a lot.
40 I can understand.
When push comes to shove, though, like 20.
Like Canelo's getting that 40. Yeah. But Gervonta Davis, especially on Showtime, he was a big pay-per-view star.
Yeah.
He's a knockout artist.
Schaub acknowledged that Jake Paul's size advantage over Davis is undeniable. However, he reminded fans that Tank Davis is one of the best knockout artists in the sport and a pay-per-view star in his own right. From a business angle, Schaub admitted that the fight makes sense, as it guarantees big numbers, but competitively, he still felt the weight difference was a massive obstacle for Tank.
False.
God, Jake is so much bigger.
Yeah, man.
I mean, so much bigger.
I don't get it. If he thinks this is going to make him legitimate in boxing, I just don't get why he do it.
Indeed, the size disparity is what most analysts and fans keep returning to. When comparing them side by side, Davis looks much smaller, almost like a child against the physically bigger Jake Paul. This visual alone has led many to believe that Paul will likely secure the victory.
100%. He should beat Jake Paul, shouldn't he?
No, he shouldn't.
But you don't think? Sorry. So, I thought we were all unanimous here. Do you think that
shouldn't?
You think Jake Paul beats Gervonta Davis?
70 pounds is 70 pounds.
Gervonta Davis is very small. 5'5".
He's tiny, bro. 5'5".
That's
what I'm saying.
Jake Paul,
he's a little man.
If Jake Paul's tucking up,
move on,
and absorbing punishment for walking forward, then look, there's a weight advantage.
Mike Perry, a former opponent of Jake Paul, also weighed in with his strong opinion. He criticized Davis for even taking this fight and said it made him lose credibility. Perry argued that Jake Paul is simply too big and strong for Tank to deal with. He pointed out that while Davis has skills, they don't carry the same weight against a much larger fighter. Perry reminded everyone that even Lamont Roach performed very well against Davis, which only makes Paul's chances of beating him look better.
Jake is big. Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, Lamont Roach performed great. They went to draw, and, I just don't know. And Tank walked away. I don't know if he loves it enough to beat a guy who outweighs him by 80 to 100 pounds.
Not every voice in the conversation has been negative, though. Teofimo Lopez offered a different kind of perspective. Instead of focusing on whether the fight was legitimate or not, he viewed it as pure entertainment that contributes to boxing's popularity. He admitted that many might call it a circus, but in his eyes, it still promotes the sport and keeps people engaged. Lopez even wished Tank Davis good luck, saying that at the end of the day, Davis is a family man, and providing for his loved ones is important. He also gave Jake Paul some advice, warning him not to get caught and knocked out.
You want a Tank and Jake type fight?
Nah, that's theirs. Let them have that.
What do you think about that? You think Gervonta has a better chance of knocking Jake out than Jake has a chance of knocking Gervonta out?
Well, I'll tell you this, man. From the height difference, Gervonta gonna have to hit him on the low blows and the belly button, bro, because that's all he gonna reach. I think it's great, man. No matter what, man, it's giving the boxing culture something to look into.
Yeah.
So no matter what it is, it could be comical to a lot of people. It's a circus act, whatever you want, blah, blah, blah. But it's entertainment, and I think everyone's going to want to tune in. Gervonta Tank Davis, it's sad we never was able to get a fight in. Got to do what you got to do, but I get it, man. You got kids, you got a wife, or baby mom, whatever it is. But, you know, you got to make your money, yo. You're going to make your money, you're going to call it quits. And, you know, I don't blame you on that part, you know. And Jake Paul, you know, do what you got to do. Don't get knocked out, and keep it cool.
Joining the mix, UFC's Sean O'Malley gave his thoughts as well. True to his style, O'Malley called the fight a stupid spectacle, but he also admitted to enjoying it. He praised the build-up, the drama of the face-offs, and the constant controversies that make it fun for fans. From his perspective, the entertainment value outweighs the criticism, and he leaned toward Jake Paul in his prediction. Like others, O'Malley pointed out the size difference and argued that Paul fighting a smaller man like Davis makes him the likely winner.
What do you think of him and Tank?
I enjoy these fucking stupid spectacles. I enjoy them. I'm excited for it. The controversy, the press conference, the weigh-ins. Imagine those two stand next to each other.
Yeah.
Dude, Jake is a big motherfucker. Basically, like you two standing next to each other. Like if you guys stood up, it looks like that. Steiny's a little bit, I think, taller than Gervonta.
But I'm a feisty bro. It's not about the size of the dog, it's about the size of the what?
Altogether, the takes on this fight paint a fascinating picture. On one hand, there are serious criticisms about the credibility of the matchup. Crawford, Stevenson, Schaub, Perry, and O'Malley all highlighted the absurd weight gap and the business-first nature of the event. Some see it as scripted, others call it ridiculous, and some dismiss it entirely as not real boxing. On the other hand, there are voices like Lopez and even O'Malley to a degree, who acknowledge the entertainment value, pointing out that these spectacles still drive fans to tune in, which in turn keeps the sport alive in the mainstream.
My point still stands where it stands. Jake Paul wins this fight. I already bet Gervonta Davis in the DMs. We locked the bet. Guys, it's obvious Jake wins this fight. If you guys know anything about fighting, you know about weight classes, you know that Jake's been training for actual years. He's been locked in.
Crawford's bold prediction that Jake Paul only needs one punch to end Davis's career has certainly added drama to an already controversial fight. The fact that he favors Paul despite calling the fight fake shows just how much the weight and size difference could dictate the outcome. Paul's own viral antics continue to fuel interest, while fighters like Stevenson and Perry slam Davis for hurting his credibility by taking part. Lopez's more supportive view and O'Malley's mix of criticism and praise only highlight the divide in opinions.
I haven't got a knockout in a long time, so I'm itching. I believe truly I've manifested. I've saw the vision of him getting knocked out and highlight real KO, and I'm just excited to be able to deliver that for the fans.
At the center of it all is the question of whether this fight should even happen. Is it a legitimate contest or just a multi-million-dollar spectacle? The answer may depend on which side fans choose to believe. But one thing is certain, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis has become one of the most talked about events in boxing right now. With money, pride, and reputations on the line, the outcome will carry consequences no matter how people view the matchup.
This workout's fueled by Celsius, baby.
And if Crawford's words turn out to be true, the night could end in dramatic fashion with one punch changing everything. Don't miss the action. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more on this explosive ring rivalry.